Hello and welcome. I hope all of you are doing well. Today I'm going to be talking about investing lessons from baseball. And the reason I'm doing this is because there are so many similarities between investing and baseball, and I want to reinforce these ideas into my brain. The sport of baseball. Ted Williams said hitting a baseball is the single most difficult thing to do in sport. And if you really think about it, hitting a baseball requires physical dexterity, it requires uh, excellent hand-eye coordination. It requires very quick reaction time, and the ball is approaching you at 90 miles per hour. And Ted Williams wrote a book called The Science of Hitting, and this is a classic book on baseball. I read this book back in 2018, and this book is also a favorite among investors because there are so many parallels between the sport of baseball and investing. Ted Williams was arguably the greatest pure hitter who ever played baseball. In 1941, he set the single season record by averaging 406. He was the last person to cross the magic 400 barrier. This meant that he succeeded in hitting the baseball 40% of the time. Today, a good baseball player would average about 250. Anything above 300 is considered excellent. And for the batting 400 is considered unachievable today. It's just very, very hard to do, almost impossible. So lesson number one and similarity number one between investing and baseball is that mistakes are part of the game. Ted Williams said, even if you are a 300 hitter, which is a rare item these days, you're going to fail at your job 7 out of 10 times. And this is similar with investing. Sir John Templeton said, even the best investors will be wrong 33% of the time. So mistakes are really part of the landscape in both investing and baseball, and mistakes should be embraced. Imagine, and in certain professions, mistakes are not tolerated. For example, if you are a surgeon or a pilot and you only have a 60% success rate, you're not going to have a job for a very long time. So in baseball and investing is a very forgiving game, and mistakes are just part of the landscape. Lesson number two, do your homework. This is really the first rule of business in general. Investing without reading the company's financials and its accounts is a bit like playing poker without looking at your cards. You may win occasionally, but in the long run, the odds are very much stacked against you. So you have to do your homework. Lesson number three, practice. An investor can practice by just reading a lot of financial statements, by reading a lot of books, and this is a game, and deliberate practice is the most important thing. You have to, my advice is that you should pick a company that you really want to study, and then pick five competitors, and then really try to understand all of them, and you will have a very good grasp of the industry and all of the companies involved, and very soon you'll understand which is the best company in that particular industry. Lesson number four is to develop your own style. Baseball players have their own style. Stephen Curry and Kyrie Irving are both point guards, but they both have a very different playing style. CEOs have different management styles, and investors also have their own style. For example, Warren Buffett is excellent at analyzing financial services and media and publishing type businesses. Tom Russo, another excellent investor, is great at investing in global consumer brands and family controlled companies. So you have to figure out. So you should develop your own style. Lesson number five is to keep learning. The game of investing is a game of lifelong learning. What makes you successful in this decade won't necessarily make you successful in the next decade. Management teams change, the competitive landscape changes. At one point, newspaper companies were thought to be bulletproof franchises, and then the internet came along. So you have to keep learning all the time, and just try to go to bed every single day smarter than you got up. And if you do that over a long period of time, most people get what they deserve. Lesson number 6: circle of competence. Ted Williams said the first rule of hitting was to get a good ball to hit. And there are 50,000 public companies in the world. I probably understand fewer than 50 of them. That is 0.1%. And that's okay. I can just stay within my 50 companies. And whenever I have made investment mistakes, it's usually, actually always, it's always because I strayed outside of my circle of competence. I thought I understood the business. I thought I understood the industry, when in actuality, I really didn't. A good way of defining your circle of competence is to, try to explain how the business makes money to a friend, and try to do it in very simple words. And if you can't do that, it probably means that you don't understand the business well enough, and that you should avoid investing in it. And Ted Williams' idea of circle of competence can be illustrated by his strike zone. So Ted Williams divided his strike zone into 77 cells, and each cell is the size of a baseball. And he said that if he only swung at pitches that were in his happy zone, his batting average would be 380 or better. But if he swung at pitches that were outside of his happy zone, for instance, all the way in the lower right-hand corner, then his batting average would drop to 240. And yeah. And the key difference between investing in baseball is that in baseball, you get 3 pitches. In baseball, if the ball is between your knee and your shoulder, you have to swing. Whereas in investing, you get an unlimited number of pitches. You have the luxury of being patient, and time is really on your side. So therefore, an investor should have a much higher batting average than a baseball player. Thank you.